Think of your favorite sports anime, whatever it may be. Haikyuu, Hajime no Ippo maybe, Kuroko no Basket, Hajime no Ippo, Ping Pong the Animation, anything I'd hope except for Keijo, Hajime no Ippo. There's a lot of prerequisites for sports anime, the formula per se, but the two things that they almost always do, to a fault even, is a tournament arc and the theme of friendship. It's almost cheesy, the way that a lot of sports anime format the idea of friendship being the key aspect tying a team together above anything else. Hell, Kuroko no Basket's final power-up lets them enter the Shadow Realm after achieving absolute trust in their teammates. Even in Hajime no Ippo, an anime about boxing, a fundamentally solo sport, the bond between Ippo and his coach and training gym mates is key to the show's charm. And I like it, it's endearing. But imagine this. Imagine if a sports manga did none of that. What if there was a sports manga that threw friendship out of the window and followed only the most egotistical, pride-driven, and independently headstrong players out there as they compete with each other to get to the top of the sports world? Guess what? That's exactly what Blue Lock is all about. Sports anime and manga always like to show off the different positions on sports teams. Nishinoya made a position with no spiking, no attacking, literally just defense and receiving into one of the coolest parts of Haikyuu, frankly. Shooting guards, point guards, I only know the positions on a basketball team because I watched Kuroko no Basket and liked all the players put in those positions. If you can't tell, my knowledge of sports is limited to basically only what I've learned from anime. But once again, check this out. A sports manga where the characters all have the same exact position. Yeah. Blue Lock follows 300 of Japan's strongest strikers, which, if you're not sporty, unlike myself, of course, the sports connoisseur, it's basically the guy in soccer who scores the goals, the main weapon and offensive attacker. And these 300 kids, they've all been sent to this really intense, probably very illegal training facility to train Japan's first world-renowned striker, because, to sum it up, Japan basically just builds teams full of softies. It's kind of like a criticism of the friendship theme I was talking about earlier. This manga takes that idea of friendship and kindness and then just tosses it into the toilet. Blue Lock only trains the hardest, most lethal killers on the soccer field, and among those 300 recruited, only one wins. And what happens if you lose, you might ask? Can you just try again like a normal tournament? No, not at all. If you lose in Blue Lock and get kicked out, you are blacklisted from any professional team, and your future in soccer goes right down the toilet with that friendship. Blue Lock is all about training the biggest egotist. A striker so incredibly confident in their abilities that they don't need that foolish idea of friendship. And what's more exciting than our most primal instinct to survive and wear the crown on top of a mound of corpses, metaphorically, but in the form of soccer? And what's easier than reading all of your favorite manhwa on one site with an accessible user interface and daily manga updates? Well, you can get all of that with the sponsor of this video, Bilibili Comics. I feel like with the recent boom of link click, Chinese manhwa is experiencing unprecedented and, frankly, well-deserved attention. At Bilibili Comics, you've got access to tons of manhwa, like Heaven's Official Blessing, which I've actually cracked open now that I've got access to it. There's a schedule showing when new chapters update, and it's just really useful overall if you're looking to get into manhwa. Check out the link in the description to support not just them, but me too, as a creator. But back to Blue Lock. So even though everyone plays the same position in Blue Lock, the manga still creates distinct differences between each player's individual styles. Almost to the point where it doesn't even feel like they're all strikers, so I guess it's kind of cheating to say all of these people are the same position. Some are really good at dribbling or shooting from long distances, which keeps it fresh and prevents it from feeling like a huge sausage fest of a bunch of cloned dudes trying to score better goals than each other. Although, that's pretty fun to read too. And the manga knows that. The characters all have this really sick aura to them in the art style whenever they're about to do something crazy, and Blue Lock really capitalizes on these awesome moments and makes them epic. The best part about this manga is these super skilled strikers one-upping each other repeatedly. The only thing that matters is scoring goals. After all, Blue Lock doesn't have anything extra like friendship or a lot of team bonding. I mean, there's a little bit of team bonding, but then they all realize that they're out to beat each other into the dirt and they're like, wait. But because it doesn't have all these extra parts that normal sports anime or manga have, Blue Lock really compensates with its hype moments and pretty hardcore characters. Like Nagi, who just started playing soccer 6 months before the manga started, but is somehow a god among men already, and can stop a full-blown pass in a second with a little toe touch, and do whirlwind Rock Lee kicks in the air to score a goal. And then there's this guy who can score a goal from like 30 meters away, which is... just wait. 100 feet! That's insane! And his whole shtick is that if he gets to that distance, he can score a goal, automatically. He is so hardcore. And our main character, Isagi, is almost hardcore, I'd say. See, the thing is, manga have to develop their protagonist in some way, at least one, because character development is really important to a good story. In all the best sports anime and manga, the main characters start with a lot of potential, but it's unrefined. They enter the sports world, maybe surprise someone a little bit, but then realize how outclassed they are until they train their skills. And of course, like any good sports manga, Blue Lock has this as well. Isagi starts off this story by losing in the road to high school nationals, because at the very end, right in front of the goal that could have tied the game, he chose to pass the ball instead of just taking the shot. Totally uncharacteristic for a striker. Plus his teammate whiffed, they lost the game. Like, bro. You're trash. And so he's really down in the dumps afterwards, feeling guilty and debating whether he should have passed or not when he gets invited to Blue Lock. It is the perfect opportunity to train him and make him realize, fuck teammates. And so the entire manga's premise essentially follows Isagi learning to abandon the idea of relying on friends or teammates, drill into his head to never pass again in that kind of situation, and be so goddamn cocky and egotistical that he will always take the shot because he is 100% confident that he will hit it. And he starts out kind of lame, he still believes in the idea of being nice and friends with everyone, but once Isagi gets his first taste of victory, he starts seeing the demon inside of him come out, and it's pretty exciting. He starts getting a lot better, he starts challenging these strikers who were all way better than him when he first came in, but now he's growing into this inhumane beast of a striker, and it's so much fun. I mean, Blue Lock is just about the same as every other sports manga or anime you've seen, except all the characters have insane drive to win and it's more competitive. It leads to more intense 1v1s, the stakes are higher than ever, and instead of losing just a tournament, you lose an entire future in the sport. This is the story of Japan's 300 best strikers being forced into an all-or-nothing competition to become the world's best. They are putting their lives on the line. I mean, not literally, but, you know, their future lives. Definitely check it out. It's so much fun, and there's an anime that's going to be adapted in 2022, I think. So if you want to get ahead of the curve, definitely recommend. As always, this has been the Anime Culture Corner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future in-depth show, manga, and character analyses.